Hey guys, I'm currently in Tim Hortons, and so throughout the day, right, I was actually by Kingsway Mall in Edmonton, and I took out my can of corn, of sweet corn, right, the one that I like, peach and cream, and then I was getting ready to take out my can opener. Hey, so basically at the beginning of the clip, I was discussing regarding my can opener. And so if I just break it down real quick so that you guys can come to a quicker understanding instead of watching like a whole 5 minute regarding to me speaking about my can opener. So yeah, it hasn't been over a month that I have my can opener. I did mention in my previous videos regarding the can opener that I have that was given by the food bank for those who are, for those who are vagrants and they would like to have their foods to be sealed in cans, right? So having a can opener is something that they can provide. And on top of that, the can opener that they gave, it turned out to be in my favorite color, which is aqua. And so, or sky blue, whatever you guys describe the color. And so basically I was explaining on how the can opener wasn't functioning properly and how it was degraded and so on. And it turned out that the reason why that the can opener wasn't working is because someone tightened the screw on the can opener, right? So I had to untighten it for it to actually function. But it turns out that the whole degradation of the item was still not able to give what's supposed to give. So that being said, I need to buy myself a new one. Okay, so from here, I'm basically mentioning a brown guy eating KFC and so on. I'm sure many of you would say, okay, so what is the actual deal? What is the actual point for her to point that out, or to point out like another person who's trying to do something on a regular basis and so on? So like I've been here the longest time to kind of realize like what is going on, and like it's kind of hard to say that it's some sort of suspicious activity that's going on, but it looks more like there's people who are putting on a scene. The reason why is because of their body language and their stare, right? Well, their stare is the one that would caught me off guard first, and then their body language. So so basically the reason why I've also mentioned a brown guy eating a 3 box of KFC that day when I was sitting in a corner, very isolated corner in the cafeteria by Kingsway Mall, right? It's because I've noticed how these brown folks are trying to get my attention, just because the first time that I was a vagrant in Ontario, Ottawa, I did basically called out these brown folks and say, or these Indians from India, saying that like us Jamaicans, we have Indian roots, right? So first the Indians were slaves, and then they were taken in based on their white features, and they were then replaced by Africans later on in our whole ancestry enslavement in Jamaica, right? So basically there is like a mixture of Indian in our ancestors. from Jamaica. I said it more in a more delightful way where, I was trying to grasp their attention, or this one of this guy's attention, and say that I can basically relate to the tradition that you're given, but just based on our similarities and so on, the approach might have been allowed, but the reason why is because I felt unsafe. That's one. Second off, I was a vagrant. And the reason why I felt unsafe is because I'm always caught up between some kind of disagreement that's preventing me from proceeding along with my opportunity, right, of maintaining a job and so on. So basically from time when I realized that I had the proper assistance from certain people, including brown people, which are ABNs and whatever, like some of them, they came across as distant, like they didn't want to have nothing to do with me, in a way that I tried to grasp their attention and say that, I do have Indian roots and so on from India, and so I'm actually Jamaican and yada yada yada. This is our roots, this is our history and so on. And so I wasn't trying to come as offensive or anything, but I said it in a delightful way because I saw how distant people were, and how they were neglecting or rejecting my opportunity, and they were choosing to give that opportunity to someone else and just basically keep me on the side type of thing, right? So basically that's one of the case scenario of this whole play that's going on behind the scene from these brown people. I believe that they can't take a compliment for. I'd say it this way, that I don't know, my compliment or the history of where I'm from shouldn't be taken so deeply, right? And for many of these Indians to kind of approach in a way so vulgarly or so desperately is starting to look as very offensive, to be honest. I really believe that there might have something going on behind the scene that might be involved with Indians and so on, or even people in general that have called out, but only for some kind of support, right? Coming back onto the brown guy that was eating KFC, it's like wherever I go, there's always like a brown guy or Indian Sikh, right, who has their turban on their head. The other thing that crosses my mind is that whenever I would walk somewhere or go like certain places, there's always an Indian Sikh who would bow their head and then walk away. Okay, and so basically some of y'all might ask, okay, so what is the actual issue if an Indian Sikh or anyone in general from the east of Asia would bow their head and just walk away? Of course, it's a sign of respect and so on, but if you guys would kind of understand certain cultures and tradition and what they worship and so on, right? There's, it kind of gives you like a different perspective of things, right? And the reason why I was so offended by the whole bowing and so on is because they do it in a manner where as if I'm supposed to know the actual reason of their whole gesture. It's as if they think it's like they do it in the way that they believe that there's something okay about the whole reasoning of
my approach in situations, right? So basically, I'm gonna just show you one of their gurus that kind of put me in a position where I feel very uncomfortable, and why I believe that certain things kind of come as very offensive, because I do have, besides that, I do have respect for people's tradition, their cultures, and religion, and so on. But certain things I just do not tolerate. So, and I just need to point out the obvious. Guru Krishan was the 8th of the 10th Sikh gurus. At the age of 5, he succeeded his father Guru Har Rai and became the youngest guru in Sikhism. He contracted smallpox in 1664 and died before reaching his 8th birthday. It is said that he died because he contracted smallpox while successfully curing his followers, right? So that is the 8th guru, and from there I'm gonna show you an example of what a smallpox looked like. And because I've been to the Gurdwara Sahib Center, which is a Indian Sikh temple, and did my research as well regarding their gurus and whatever. And so the certain approach from Indians, some of the Indians from India, right? It comes across as very offensive whenever they see me and they would bow, right? I'm like, what is it that you're worshiping? Knowing for a fact that I'm minding my own business, and I know for a fact that I'm being disrespected behind the scene, and there's so many things that I do not tolerate. So for people to just walk by and then bow their head as if, they salute to something that someone is doing, but knowing for a fact that I'm not necessarily doing anything for certain people to kind of salute me in a way. So certain salutations come as very offensive. When I first saw the Indian guy dressed in orange, right, had 3 boxes of KFC chicken, and so when he left, there was a group of black people from different ethnicities, right, who were surrounding me. And then from there, from there is when I started to question the Indian's guy appearance. And so for some reason, there was like a brown guy, an Indian guy, right, who sat down with a whole bunch of KFCs. Like, he had like 3 packs of chicken from KFC. I'm like, damn, he's gonna eat all of that. But look at me saying that, oh, he's eating a lot and whatever, because I'm also a type of person who eats a lot as well, but mostly like healthy foods, right? I don't munch on a lot of stuff that's like unhealthy and whatever. Anyways, so he was sitting down there, and then when he got up and left, all of a sudden all black folks started like surrounding me and whatever. But like, obviously I'm black as well, like I don't care, like, we're all in the cafeteria just minding our own business. But like, some of them, like before they sit, it's like they would literally like sit down and stare at me, right? So I'm gonna show you real quick on how the shit went down. Let me take my bag right here so I can show you exactly like how it went down.
stare at me like this. But the next thing you know, you'll sit down and still stare at me. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And so I'm just watching IP Man. There you go. So it was IP Man 3, right? And so I was watching IP Man 3, and so next thing you know, I started to fall unconscious. I just completely wasn't aware of what I was watching, and I didn't have that energy to get back up. So basically I was sitting at an angle where if I were to pass out, like no one wouldn't necessarily can tell, right? And but like I said, the person who actually like came by and sat down, but it wasn't just her, there was also other black folks, and each and one of them, they look from like they were from like different nationalities and whatever, but for some reason they had something in plan, right? Like it's like for some reason they might have had like some friends from left, right, and center, and they had something in plan. And I'm wondering like what kind of signs like these people are trying to give, because it really looks like the area code that I'm currently at, like just random people, strangers that I've never seen before, they just come across as if they're trying to throw signs, because some of their shades, like their attitude doesn't necessarily make sense until like at the last minute you're like, oh okay, now I see what's going on, because like the puzzle pieces kind of put things together for situations to make sense, you know what I mean? So like yeah, I completely passed out and whatever. And then the next day, which is today, this morning, I took videos or little clips of my underwears being like torn, like the same situation that I've posted on my previous or most recent, not most recent, but I think it might have been like the first video or the second video, and on how my my underwear or my underclothes are being torn, right? And so yeah, and I just noticed that like people would literally like dig into my bag, and like while I'm asleep or unconscious, and when I'm awake, it's like nothing never happened, like nothing never happened at all, like things are placed back in the same spot and so on. And so yeah, so basically that's how I knew or concluded that something might have went down at the time where I was sitting at a 90-degree angle, quite very quiet and isolated angle in the Kingsway Mall cafeteria, right?
Trying to mess with physics and not even complacent. Do I accept it? Or do I just replace it? I mix it with the honey and the honey cause it stays thick. Can't do myself eradicating from what's been created for me. Please let go, please set me free. So no, don't holla cause I'm not trying. Trying to catch feelings or trying to get married. Trying to find out and give for what I do for granted. Wishing my mama could see what I do, wish she'd be so proud of me. So no, don't fall right wrong. So no, I don't want you to come. No. I said don't bother me, I'm not trying. Yeah. Oh, no. So many reasons why I want it for you.
So here I got myself a pounded yam, some agusi soup with some goat meat, and of course in this silver bowl I got myself some water, right? So of course, you know, this is not my tradition, I'm Jamaican and whatever, so I rushed to the bathroom to wash my hands with soap before dipping my hands in this water and tried to eat with my hands, my fingers and so on, right? So yeah, it's actually a Nigerian traditional food that we have here. Let me try this alone because I know this is yam, right? It's not cornmeal. And so I came across this YouTuber. Her name is Demetria.
Alright, we got that? They got the vibes, the music? Hey! Hey, he's wild!
What we gonna do right here is this. Just wanna show you good
Oh, we
work.
only drink the top of show, so the top of show. Like, come on, that's what we gotta have. So much. Thank you. Cheers, everybody. Happy Sunday.
It's a vibe.
Her name is Demetria, and she started off being a news reporter. And this girl, her public speaking is top notch, right? And then for some reason, assumingly she might be taking a break off of her news report journey, and so now she's just doing YouTube. And you know, she started a season with Demetria or Demetria Eats, and she's also talking about like sports and stuff like that, like things that she can relate to and things that, you know, she's knowledgeable of and whatever. And she's half Nigerian and half American. And yeah, she recently posted a video of her in a restaurant eating Nigerian food and so on, and she can relate with all the Nigerians that's within the club or restaurant and so on. And so I just came across a Nigerian guy as well. No, there's nothing going on between both of us or whatever. He said that he's new in Canada and it's been only a year that he was in Canada. And so the way how we made an approach is basically on, you know, something that's not too fancy, very casual like, and it felt more as an in-kind gesture because you guys know that I am a vagrant and so on. So I'm not necessarily the type in this moment and in this phase of my vagrancy to like to show or to try to get a man's attention. So of course, like I picked a bottle that dropped in front of him, right? Because I don't know, this kid didn't have any manners, and so he just basically dropped the bottle in front of the security guy. The Nigerian guy is a security guy, right? And so this kid just dropped the bottle in front of the security guy. I'm like, wait. I just walked behind him and I frightened him because he turned around towards me very quickly, and I said, oh sorry, I'm just willing to pick up this bottle because I'm trying to collect bottles and whatever. And he's like, oh, you know what? I'm like, what? He's like, oh, I have tons of bottles that I can offer you, like bottles that I don't need and so on. And I believe that it would be your biggest bet to get something as a refund. And I said, oh, okay. And yeah, he said that, oh, he's Nigerian. And I said, oh, I'm Jamaican and whatever. And so yeah, that's how we met, really. He was very kind, very generous and so on. And so from there, yeah, we exchanged numbers so that we could keep in touch, and that he would try to kind of guide me on where to find the bottles that he had and so on. But like from there, like things had to be cut short and whatever. But yeah, let me just stop here before I end up showing you guys extra info and like proof and so on, so you guys can get like a better picture of what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so this is my first time trying pounded yam with egusi and goat meat, right? This is so good, so spicy, but so good. This is very, very good. I've never tried egusi before. So beautiful. I wasn't expecting it to be this beautiful, and just by the look of the restaurant outside, I thought that the restaurant would have been a lot smaller, like more like a walk-in and walk-out kind of feeling, right? But no, it's very spacious, very nice, well decorated. Pounded yam is so delicious, but compared to the cornmeal has like a different flavor, right? You can actually taste the corn, and it kind of gives you more of a dough kind of sensation. Because as those know, or as anyone knows, just in general, that cornmeal comes in a power texture, and some cornmeals can be a lot more degraded than the other, depending on the package. But yeah, that's what it is. I never tried egusi before. Yeah, so as Jamaicans, we don't like do pounded yam, we just eat yam as it is. Well, not necessarily as it is, we boil it with dumpling. You know what's called dumpling, right? So dumpling is basically like dough that's rolled up and we just boil it. Yeah, and so basically that's what we call dumplings, boiled dumplings. Yeah, we have yam. Yeah, and yam has like a sweet texture to it. Yeah, so we eat yam, and so it's something very healthy to eat. So like, yeah, I just like the whole flavor of pounded yam because it's something that I can relate to regarding my traditional culture. Yeah.
Yeah, they said the fufu is pretty much the same. We have the fufu. So many reasons why I have done it before, but it's a lot of work. But they this topic because it's pretty much the same as this one.
Yeah, exactly. But the fufu isn't it not milk made into like cornmeal?
It's made of cassava.
Cassava? Oh, okay, cassava. down in the Caribbean.
Ours is like you won't find it except in Eritrea and Ethiopia.
Yeah.
That kind of food, you won't find anyone in the world.
Oh, really?
It's totally different.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bread. It's not like it's like circle. I'll give the
Okay, sure, no problem. Oh, yeah, I've seen it because I follow some businesses, and so basically they'll kind of have like a huge plate, or it's not necessarily huge, yeah, but like there's like a lot of sauce in the middle, and some of them eat like raw meat. What kind of meat is it? Yeah, because the meat is different.
Yeah, raw meat, and they eat like a spicy thing. They eat the meat and they eat the raw meat. But here, there's some people that eat it in the restaurant too. But I know I just don't like eating the raw meat.
Yeah, the food is a lot different.
The food is very tasty, like the water soup in the middle.
Oh yeah?
Very good.
Okay. One day I'll try it.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if I have to use the water, right, to wash my hands. I'm here eating and licking my fingers. Nothing goes to waste here. Nothing goes to waste here. Imagine having someone in front of me and like, but I always thought that the water was to cool down my fingers, because sometimes, okay, you'd be served like very hot food, right? So you need like some water to just cool down your fingers. Yeah, egusi is the bomb. Yeah, that's what it is. Cheers. Basically, this clip would be inserted in one of the videos that I'm going to create. And so basically, like I said, I came across this Nigerian and it has not necessarily has nothing to do with this guy, but it had more to do with strangers who's in my business, and you know, their approach kind of come as offensive, as if they're trying to mock or apply, not necessarily apply, but kind of show some kind of sex appeal and whatever. And yeah, it's very offensive in a way where you're like minding your own business, you're in your own world, and then all of a sudden you're being mentally disturbed by like someone you don't know. And you know, it just kind of influenced me to kind of isolate myself. Be like, oh, it's enough, it's enough. You know what I mean? But I have a text message of I received a text message from a girl or a woman or whomever, right? like unappealing, very inappropriate light, and you just kind of look at the text like with a stink face. You're like, what the hell is this person trying to say? You know what? I think I have to end the video like right here so that I can kind of dive into the text message and so on. Maybe write it down on a piece of paper and read it to you guys while filming, because Alright, so right now I'm currently by the Westmount Mall, and I have something to explain regarding the text message that I've received. So I wasn't able to tell you exactly what the message that was sent to me from the back of my mind. So basically, okay, it was actually on a Monday, right? And so it was last Monday, September 30th, 2024 at 2:08 p.m. right? And so during that time, I was actually sitting at the Kingsway cafeteria mall. I was basically blindsided, right? During that time, right, I think I sat down around 1 p.m. and I sat down at 1 p.m. up until 3 p.m. So the time that this person sent me an email, they haven't sent me an email, they sent me a text message. I'm gonna show it to you like right there. And it was at 2 p.m. Yeah, so it was at 2:08 p.m. that this person sent me a message. And the text message was like, it came across as if they were trying to send a booty call, right? And I don't know if it was like some kind of sign or that's what they're trying to give, right? I don't know, like, what if I would have said something and answered that email during that time, right? Like, what would have happened? And were they trying to make me see or try to see what was going on or whatever? Like, something might have happened, because I did said that I felt unconscious during that time. And so like the text message sounded like a booty call. So the person was like, capital M, 3 dots. Good day to you. The U was spelled with a letter U. It wasn't Y-O-U, with a letter U. 3 dots. And then they said, did you get my email? Question mark, 3 dots with a capital C. Like, see what? Like, what were they trying to make me see, right? And then I asked them, I don't have the full text message info in front of me on my piece of paper, because I did wrote it down, like some information, essential information regarding the text message, right? And so basically the first thing I said was, who are you? Like why is the person texting me? And then the person said, Cheryl. And I said, Cheryl who? Like, who are you? And then they said, Berezanski. And I said, okay, so who is Berezanski, right? Like, I said, okay, well, who are you? Like, what kind of relationship that we had? Because, like, I just signed up for school, right? So I was just wondering, like, if this Berezanski is my teacher or, you know, someone within the whole school program. So I'm like, okay, so who are you? What relationship that we have? And so if they were to say a science teacher or a second principal or my math teacher, I'll be like, okay, so nice to meet you, yada, yada, yada. Let's proceed with the conversation from there. But in this case, I don't know who Cheryl Berezanski is. And then, like, from time, it just sounded like a booty call, like if they're trying to like provoke my psyche, right? And I looked up the name, like the meaning of the names Cheryl and Berezanski, And so Cheryl means darling, beloved. And it says here, Cheryl is a feminine name of French origin that is sure to remind baby of your love for them every time they hear it. Right? And then I looked up Berezensky, and when I looked up Berezensky, all that popped up was family tree, family history. I'm like, blood fire. I was like, blood fire, yo, this person is trying to provoke my psyche. And then, okay, like just today, I captured the information, and it says that Berezensky, right, the surname of the Berezensky is historically, surnames evolved as a way to sort people into groups by occupation, place of origin, clan affiliation, patronage or patronage, heritage, adoption, and even physical characteristics like redhead. And didn't I not made a video by Tim Hortons regarding these redheads, right? Regarding these redheads. And then it says here, many of the modern surnames in the dictionary can be traced back to Britain and Ireland. So that's the information that I wrote down. I'm gonna show you the source and the screenshot of what I just read, right? And I'm gonna also show you the text message that was sent to me, and I responded back so vulgarly because I just knew that this person was trying to provoke my psyche, and they did. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I have nothing to do with you. And on top of that, because I know that like whatever is going on, there might be some pounded chicken, baby chickens from left, right, and center. But the rule here, the law, it's not even a rule, it's actually a law in Canada, in North America, right, in Canada and the States, saying that if there were to have a surrogated mother, right, who volunteered to proceed along with an illegal seed, like a seed that's not originally from them, right? And they don't know the person, like the biological person, it's actually illegal to go up to the biological person. It is illegal, right? And in my case scenario, like, I don't know, somebody has to apply on this this law that has been placed for many years regarding men and female of all backgrounds to not approach the biological mother nor biological father with the kids, because it can cause chaos. It can cause chaos, and it can cause some kind of trauma, and that's about it, right? People express themselves very differently, and so if they were to find out that, oh boom, like they have a kid and they're being followed or stalked and provoked, and the person's like, hey, take care of this, take care of that, this pounded chicken and whatever, like, hey, back up, like take 100 feet back, because this is just too much, right? This is too much. And these folks with this redheaded, I'm like, listen, there's nothing special with these redheads, right? They're just the same as us. And on top of that, blonde people are the ones who are most popular, right? Yes, you might call out these redheads and say, oh, look how red their hair are, but these blonde folks are the ones who are the most popular. Blonde hair, blue eye, pale skin, right? There's no such thing in history, red hair, blue eyes, and freckles face and yellow skin. Okay, there's none of that. Blonde hair, blue eyes, pale skin, right? And so for this person to have the nerve to send me this text message, like I literally call the person and continuously call this person and say, hey, you better back the fuck up and better not send me this message as a fucking thread. And I told them, like, was this a threat? We don't know each other. She kept hanging up, and I called back again. I purposely did that because I just wanted to show that, listen, like, if you were to try to come for me or try to chase me down the road and be direct in that vulgar, inappropriate manner, something will definitely go south. Because what other way am I supposed to defend myself? Am I just gonna stand still and just let something be and let something just hit me and knock me down, right? And on top of that, my left leg, my knee is wobbly. Like, I can tell like something might have happened to my left knee. It might have been broken in some way, because whenever I walk and I have like a certain amount of weight on my shoulders or on my back, I can feel how fragile my left leg is. So I'm basically limping. It's like a natural reflex of trying to not add too much pressure on what's unusual, right? Yeah, so here I am by the mall eating some jello fries with some goat meat and some plantain. And I actually bought, of course, I bought myself a second meal, so one to stay by the restaurant and one to go. And so this is the meal that I got. This is what I bought, and it came up to like $65, right? With the Red Bull and whatever. But yeah, it was a nice chat that I had with the guy, but I'm not too sure he's Nigerian. He told me that he was somewhere more in the east, from East Africa, but he haven't specified. He's like, he just mentioned like Ethiopian or Ethiopia. I'm like, okay, but I don't know. He could have been like from Djibouti but I'm not too sure. Like, is Djibouti like colonized by Francophones or Anglophones? Like, I'm just trying to figure out, because he doesn't seem to know any French either. I mean, his English is very good, but I'm just wondering, because I know that like way back then when I was under my family's roof, I came across a Djiboutian, I think that's what it's called, Djiboutian Uber driver, and he knew French, but who knows, he might be like an American Djiboutian, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an American Jamaican, but basically I was born here in Canada, so technically I am Canadian. But yeah, anyways, yeah, so so the reason why I'm trying to approach this other text message regarding this Nigerian security guy who was kind enough to kind of offer like more extra bottles, that kind of took some time for that to even happen, right? The small talk was sweet, I'd say. Like, the small talk was sweet. Like, he was very kind, generous, to kind of provide something that for someone who had so little, like myself. And so from time, like the day when was the time for me to pick up the bottles, I did give him a call, and it turned out that something happened on his end, that he wasn't home, and it was an emergency. And so we had like a little chat later on. I think it was later on the day or the next day. And so like he basically said that it was his first year in Canada. So it's been like a year exactly that he's been in Canada, but he sounds well put together, very educated, like, and
some Africans, they might yeah, so like I was trying to say, so basically that not just the Africans themselves, there is, you know, other and like nationalities nor ethnicities. There's other ethnicities, right, from across the world that, you know, they're built different, they got it good, but their interaction with people is, you know, different from ours, right? So like I've noticed in our interaction that the Nigerian guy, he was like a lot more open and a lot more, you know, he was sharing a bit like informations where it's, you know, it's supposed to be confidential. And, you know, it kind of puts me in a spot where I'm like, oh, like something might happen or whatever, I don't know. Or, you know, he might just be from elsewhere and whatever. But, you know, in my case, like things doesn't work out that way when, you know, just being that open. So basically, if I would to come back on to the Nigerian guy that I mentioned, if I'd be more precise, it would make more sense, because like now, like if I'm not precise enough, like people will start to question, okay, so what is the conversation that she had with the Nigerian guy and so on. So basically, like how it went down is basically that yeah, so he randomly called me the day after he told me that like he wasn't able to give me the bottles so that I can run to the city center bottle depot to get the refunds, right? And so the reason why he wasn't able to is because he said that he had to go to the hospital and it was an emergency. And then yeah, so basically I told him that day that okay, it's fine, so I hope you feel better, and just give me a heads up of whenever you are looking forward to handing me those bottles, right? Because I told myself that, hey, I'm a vagrant and I wouldn't mind like using those bottles for a refund to get like extra cash, right? And then the day after, it might have been the day after, I can't remember, but eventually he gave me a call while I was on my way to the park where I normally stay. And yeah, the park where you see me earlier today as well this morning. So yeah, I was on my way there, and so he gave me a call, and he started to be open in a way where he started sharing his confidentiality. So the confidentiality that he was sharing, right, it wasn't anything like sexual or none of that, right? So it was more likely his health. So he was basically speaking on the matter of being in isolation, in emergency, and so he might have had something that the doctor don't know about. But like he told me that, you know, he went through the whole examination, blood test, urine test, and yada yada yada, and things are fine. And then towards the ending of the conversation, he's like, oh, I would like to get to know you, would you like to come over, and so on. And so, you know, that kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, okay, so that's not the proper approach to kind of make to someone, you know, regarding to like, oh, I don't know. It's like at first I'm like, okay, so what is the actual point? Like, why is it that you're telling me this kind of confidentiality regarding your health? And, you know, yeah. And so it kind of put me in a spot where, like, I don't know, I was just curious. I was just like, okay, like, it's not the proper approach to make to someone, and for them to, like, you know, to come to your place. Like, it's as if he's trying to make some kind of arrangement, you know what I mean? But like, I just kept it very low-key. I was like, you know, like eventually, like I'm sure that we're no longer going to talk to each other because I have other things in plan and so on. And I said, oh, I wouldn't mind keeping in touch with you and yada yada yada, because like he's basically going through a little phase, like a little crisis phase, right? So I'm not trying to kind of like escalate that situation of anxiety or crisis or whatever, right? So basically, like I knew that he just came from Nigeria and whatever, so I knew immediately that or I thought that, okay, so it might just be the way on how he makes that kind of approach with other people and so on, because in my case scenario, that's not the kind of approach that I would ever make with someone and so on. I would just immediately, I don't know, I really don't know, but yeah, like if someone were to make some kind of arrangement, you know what I mean, like coming to a person, like a decent person like myself, it's not how it works, to be honest. Like I don't act a certain way for me to be in that kind of position for that kind of arrangement. But that's what I kind of thought. But when I saw his house, I said that, well, his house is very top notch. His house was like painted matted black, and yeah, it was very extremely close from the Bissell Center, and like every other house around his built house or just recently built house was very, like, I wouldn't say ancient, but it looked as if it was very old compared to the house that he was living in. And so basically, yeah, that's basically it, especially in person. Like his approach gave me like a different impression that, you know, he's really put together and he has a mind of his own. He sounded very mature, so I believe that he might be like in his 30s and so on and yada yada yada. But like, yeah, so in the video, I'm just gonna add this clip inside this video so that you guys can get like a better understanding of the conversation that we had on the phone and so on. Because like if I'm being overprotective and, you know, overprotected out of fear, right? Because I don't know what kind of people is trying to approach me in certain ways, and I don't know, like, if I were to say something that sounds very professional, but yet someone from elsewhere, like from a different country, they might see that as like offensive. I don't know. I really don't know. So like, it is what it is, to be honest. I'm just gonna, you know, put this clip in the video and for you guys to get like a better understanding, yeah, because it's just about it. I think I said it all.
Okay, I'm currently by Tim's and I got myself a cheesecake not bagel, donut, cheesecake donut with stuffed with the strawberry filling and the cheesecake, maybe, what do you call it, cheesecake cream. It's so delicious. I'm actually by the Tim Hortons at Westmount. Yeah.